I will introduce, the instructions of your final paper. Okay, and then we will start with our first unit. All right. Now I just would like to check. Can you see the slides or the file that I'm sharing here? And can you hear me well? Yeah, just I would like sometimes I need to check whether everything looks fine for your end, so that it would I just not like it my own monologue. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so a lot of people are saying yes. Then yeah, we can start. All right. Now, actually, you can find these or specifically the schedule on Blackboard, right? You can find it. You can find even the course introduction on Blackboard. I have posted the material on Blackboard already, right? And and you are supposed to have your books as well, right? You can find the book on the internet. If you cannot, you can ask your friends. Yeah, I think a lot of students have got their books already. Okay, so now let me go over the schedule. Okay, so this is what we're going to do, the tentative schedule. So sometimes we don't have time. We can, this can be a little bit different between dates. But this is the schedule that I will go over, so you would know what to expect in the next class or the sessions. Okay. Now, if you scroll down a bit, okay, so you will see that in week 15, okay, in week 15, you will have the final paper. Okay, you will see this. So please download and keep this to make sure that you're on the right track. Why I would like to tell you this. So this is the reserve week, all right? So actually the semester ends in week 14 already, but we just have we don't have so we need to work on the last class in week 15. That is the reserve week, okay? And so I would like to stress that your final paper actually submitted in the last class is because we don't have the final exams. I think I would like to say this one more time. We don't have the final exam. We only have final paper. So you need to keep track of your own end for your final paper, right? Yeah, so this is, I would like to draw your attention here. So during the semester, so we can see the week number, the dates here, and the content that I think I will cover, and the deadlines. Okay, so please keep track of the deadlines. So for homework assignments, you need to look at here is so next week is the deadline of the first homework assignment. Okay, and then in week 5, actually you need to decide the topics. Okay, you need to decide the topics and the title of your proposal. Okay, so homework 2, 3, and you can see that it goes. This is the deadlines of these assignments. Okay, for one assignment you have 1 point bonus. And as for the extra homework assignments, because they are extra, so I set them as in the last class is the final day you need to submit it. For other homework assignments, if you skip or if you miss the deadline, and it will pass. So you don't have that. You cannot. Okay, miss. I have a problem. I forget. I just can keep track of the deadlines. So can I resubmit and say no? The answer is no. So if you miss any homework assignments, so you cannot submit it, right? So you just keep working on extra homework assignments in order to compensate, to make up with the one that you miss. Okay, good. And we have 2 weeks of midterm examination. We don't have, I don't have the schedule yet. So you would know, right? You would know what is the date for your test, for your midterm tests. Okay, any questions? So if you have any questions relating to the schedules, um, you can speak up, okay? That will be faster if you key in the chat box. It might take some time. If you have any questions, just raise your hand or just simply speak up. Mhm. Okay, good. All right. So these are the things that I would like to cover. Okay. Now let's continue with the instructions of final papers. Okay. So um, yeah. Okay. So I will address. So you just key in your questions in the chat box, and I may get back to address them to you to answer the questions. Okay. So this is the instructions. You can find this online on Blackboard as well. I have created the space for you to submit your final paper. Please do not submit it anything for now, right? I just create a spot there and post the guidelines for you. Okay, so please download the guidelines and read in details. But over here, um, I just give you, the introduction to this. Okay, just give me a second. Yeah, I think the university calling. Yeah, just give me a second. Okay, so the university just would like to know if just give me a second. Okay, let's get back here. Now, the thing is, we have the introductions sections. Okay, so you need to write, and we will go over. So today we'll go over the introduction sections. Now, let's see. So please download and read details. But over here, actually, I have put it. What we are expected to write, like from 700 to 1,000 words, main text only. Okay, and I also put a note here that you can develop from the ones from your papers, from your report, but not group projects. Please do not use your group projects. So I think I have mentioned this already, but I would like to remind you that. And the deadlines, last class of the course, so it takes you 40% of your total score, right? And the details, the content that you need to have in your paper, right? In your paper. Okay, and the criteria that actually the criteria that you will be assessed. It may be changed, but I don't think that it would change a lot. But these are criteria that you will be assessed in your paper. Okay, so how to submit your paper? I will get back to this when the time comes. Okay, we have some time. We have a couple of weeks. until the rest of the semester, until the end of the semester, right? So I will get back. I will remind you, but I just would like to draw your attention to that. You need to um, have both e-copy and hard copy. Yeah, you need to submit both because it's kind of high stakes paper. It's very important paper, and it takes you 40% of the scores. So that is why I just would like to remind you that. So both e-copy and hard copy are expected. Okay, and so let's see the submission guidelines. Okay, so please read uh, carefully, and so I think it's a very detailed instructions. So what you are supposed to do, and if you have any other questions, you can ask later. But these are, some of the points that I want you to pay attention to, such as file format, fonts, paragraphing, heading, numbering, word count, reference list. Okay, we are using APA style. Okay, just keep that in mind. So I think I have I have given instruction to you for APA style. So we use APA the 7th edition styles. Okay, and I also put plagiarism policy in here. Actually, I put it in course introduction already, but I just put things here so that it will be easier for you to refer back. Okay, and the lateness policy, again, late submission is not accepted. So please mark the deadline on your calendar so you don't miss that. So it happens in the previous semester, in the semester that the students have some problems, like with the technology or whatever. But the thing is, you know everything beforehand. You have time to prepare and you have time to develop that. So please don't wait until the last minute to do everything, right? Because it's very important. It takes you 40% unless you have 10 out of 10 for your ongoing assessment and for your midterm, then it won't be a problem anymore. But again, so please mark the final papers is very important here. Don't don't miss the deadline because late submission is the final test. It's much the same like in the same exam that you sit and you have to submit it on time. Other than that, this is not accepted. Okay, and we will get it back. In the last, we will get back here, but just please keep in mind that uh, the for the date that you are supposed to submit your papers. Okay. Now let's see. Any other questions? Right. Now I think we have a question here. Let me see in the chat box. So in the meantime, just if you have any other questions, just let me know later. But I think let me look at the question here. So Nhật asked in assignment, please don't put in short form. It's a different meaning. Assignment, right? Or homework. One. Okay. So you ask about the hard copy submission, right? All right. So because next week, yeah. So next week, actually, we are. I think we are going to go back to university. Okay, so for assignment number 1, I would like you to bring the hard copy. Okay, now this assignment number 1 expect you to collect resources, right? Yeah, to collect resources. So you have the references, isn't it? That is the homework assignment, and the other one is original papers. But original, I want you to have the original papers because some people may have the references without access to the full papers. But for this assignment, I want you to access or to have the full papers. Does that make sense? That means the originals. The originals and the full text of the publications that you create the references. Does that make sense? Okay, but if you have to print out like 5 or 10 papers, about 20 papers each, this is too much, too long, right? So I don't expect you to print out the original papers. You can attach that. You can attach that on the so you can attach the papers. Does that make sense? So again, please attach the copies of originals. Originals mean the full text of the publications that you use. Does that make sense? And the assignment need to print to class. If we go actually copies of your assignment, not your originals papers. Does that make sense? Okay, to class. All right. Any questions? Am I answering your question? Yeah, am I answering your question? Okay. All right. So it seems like no other questions. Okay, so Joe has a follow-up question like you need to handing in hard copy of papers. What kind of papers? Right, you don't have to print out the originals. The originals mean the full publications of originals. You just the homework assignments, right? The referencing, and you also need to do, yes, few pages, right? You don't have to print out everything. Any questions? Right. Probably we will see. I haven't received any announcement that we will go back or we keep working online. I haven't received any notifications yet. But please keep updated, right? Okay. It seems like you don't have other questions relating to the assignment, not yet, isn't it? Just feel free to read. Yeah, again, please download the material I have posted on Blackboard. And yeah, if you have other questions, I will spare you some time for in the class. So I prefer to address the questions in the classroom, right? You can ask me by emails, but please do not expect me to answer by emails. Why so? Because I would like to give people chances to know the information that you have, right? So if you want to, you can send me the questions by emails, but I will I will answer, um, but I will answer, in front of class. Okay, as for homework assignments, for comments, I will give comments as the whole class. Okay, again, I don't give individual comments. I won't run drafts. Okay, because the final paper, as you can see, that the homework assignments as you work towards the progress of the final papers. Okay, so I think I won't give individual comments for each of you. I don't give because it's not fair, right? It's not fair. This is the final paper. But as you submit the papers, submit your homework, I will give comments in front of the whole class. Okay, I may say, okay, that this is some problems that a lot of people have, right? I will address as the whole class. Okay, if you have problems, you can ask, but I don't give individual comments for each of you because the end that is your work, that is your paper. But I just the homework assignments actually are guides for you to work toward your papers. Does that make sense to you? I won't run drafts. Okay, I won't give comments on it because this is not. I'm not just supervisors. Okay, the supervisors will give you individual help, but I will give comments as I will have a look because one submission of your homework you have 1 point bonus, right? You can have 10 points for the ongoing assessment, um, but rather than points for individual assignments. Does that make sense to you? But again, I will have a look at your homework assignments and address the problems that a lot of you have, right? In general, if I say, okay, this is a problem, you go on in the wrong track. You need to fix this, fix that, as the whole class. Okay. All right. Okay. So people are sending questions. Assertions or something missing components acceptable. Okay. So one question I think that a lot of people may have is that what if you miss some information, right? Then what what should you do? Now, let's see. Uh, if you cannot find, okay, if you cannot find the volume and the issue numbers, uh, these can be possibilities. Okay, so the first possibility. So that's why I ask you to provide simple detail. The detail is this one. So we need to look for the details, right? So if you cannot find them, then the first possibility is that actually they don't have ones. They don't have the volumes. They don't have the issue numbers. So they can be, they are not academic papers. They are not academic articles or academic journals. So they should have, but they don't. Then if it's not, if the journal that you are looking at is not an academic one, then you should not use that, right? Why? Um, the reason simply is it's not academic one and it's not peer reviewed and it's not reliable. Okay, so this is not reliable and you should not include that. You can have a look, you can read, but you cannot cite. Okay, for example, like some of articles that they don't have such kind, so it is the first possibility. Okay, and the thing is, yeah, you may include that, but you may need a note, put a note there. So this is very wonderful. I can use it some way, but I cannot find it. But the thing is, you may want to use that, but you cannot cite. you cannot include that in the references. You cannot cite from them. You cannot officially use the information from them. Okay, so it is the first possibility. The second possibility is that they do have, but you cannot find them, right? Maybe they include the volume and the issue number somewhere, but you cannot recognize them. Okay, so that's why I ask you to include the originals, the full text of that. Okay, so I think I put it like at least 5 or 10. I don't remember exactly, but it's just the at least. You can add more, right? But 10 is the minimum, so that you can earn bonus. But you can include 15. You can include as many as you think that will be necessary for your paper. Okay, you can just, and if you cannot find and you want me to help you to look for those, you can bring them to the class. All right, you can just an e-copy, or you don't have to print everything out. If you cannot find the information, you can bring to the class, or you can ask other people or your friends to have a quick look whether they can find the information, right? If your friends cannot help you, you can ask me. Yeah, when we meet in the next class. Does that make sense? So again, the first scenario is that actually they don't have the information by such as volume numbers or issue number. Thus, this can be a signal that it is not academic article or journal. Ignore them. Okay, you cannot use. I'm sorry, you cannot use them. The second scenario, you can ask your friends to help to look for those kinds of information, and or you can bring the original to me. Okay, for me to have a look. Like, where can you find? Actually, I have in my guidelines. I also instruct you where can information locate, right? On the hard copy and the front cover, and even like the second page or a few pages at the beginning, so that you can find the necessary information. Okay, or in the journal, in the article paper. Any questions? Good. Okay. All right. I think I have received some questions. What if you have other sources? Because in the materials, I include 3 common ones, right? Book chapter, and the article, journal article. They are the most common types that people cite. But if you need to cite from all the type of sources, please read the material of APA, right? 7. So you need to trace back at the original, right? The original guidelines, so that you will know what other options or what other types of sources that you need to refer to. Okay, yeah, to the original of the APA slide guidelines. All right, it seems so far so good. People don't have other questions. Let me pull out the first unit. Okay, now just a reminder. The thing is, I think I have mentioned this in the first class, but I would like to say it one more time. Okay, like you need to have the book. If you don't, please ask for your friends, I think a lot of students can find one online, easy to find. If you don't, you ask for help from your friends. Okay, and the thing is, you need to have the book, at least the e-copy, but it is preferable you have a hard copy. Why? Because you may need the book, the materials again, right? Now, again, I just post the materials that you think this is not in the book, and I think this is useful for you. I will share them with you. But again, I won't share every single slides of my lectures. Does that make sense to you? Okay. So because if the materials in the book, then there's no need to reshare. Okay, so I expect you to have the book in your hand. Why so? Because the slides, just the very, very key points, very fundamental and basic ones. I want you to refer to the explanation, to the details of the book. Okay, good. All right. So now let's start with Unit 1, Introduction. Okay, so let's refer to the structure on page 16, right? We're talking about the structure. Now, let's see, answer the following questions. Okay, so we just start. Yeah, it's just a warm up questions. I just would like to know what you have known of an introduction, right? Of the thesis of the paper. Now, I would like some people to help me. Okay, question number 1. Let's see. Việt Hoàng Hồ Ngọc Việt Hoàng is here.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, please. Question number 1. Question number 2. Nguyễn Việt Hoàng.
Yes.
Okay, please. Question number 2. All right. Maybe another person. Trịnh Quỳnh Hương. Oh, wow. This is a little noisy. Can you please unmute yourself? Wow. Okay. Well, the thing is, I know. So that is the downside of learning online. At university we have a room, right? Quiet room, and then with the air cons, whatever, right? And at home, there's because I know that we cannot do anything else. But please find your own corner, right? Your own quiet corner, so that we can stay focused. Yeah, I know. Just do the best things so that you can focus on the lesson. And let's see the second question. Why I put a question mark here? Nguyễn Việt Hoàng. Trịnh Quỳnh Hương is here. Quỳnh Hương. Trịnh Quỳnh Hương absent. Đăng Khoa. Nguyễn Đăng Khoa. Đăng Khoa is here. Absent. Hữu Khương. Hữu Khương, Trần Hữu Khương. Absent. Tuấn Kiệt. Tuấn Kiệt. Bùi Tuấn Kiệt.
I'm here.
Okay, please. Number 2. Yeah. So Việt Hoàng Nguyễn and Tuấn Kiệt. Please, number 2. Hoàng Lan.
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
Oh, Hoàng Lan, please, number 3. Hán Lâm.
Yes.
Please, number 3.
Okay.
Thảo Linh Hoàng. Thảo
Yes,
Linh.
I'm
Please,
here.
number 4. Okay. Khánh Linh.
Teacher, I'm sorry. Teacher, I'm
What are
sorry.
you? What
My
are you?
voice has a problem. I'm Khương.
Oh, you Khương. Okay, so you have please help with number 4, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now I said again, Việt Hoàng Hồ. Number 1, Việt Hoàng Nguyễn. Number 2, Khương. Please. Sorry. Number Việt Hoàng Nguyễn and Kiệt, please number 2. Hoàng Lan, Lâm, please number 3. Khương and Linh, Thảo Linh, please number 4. Okay, I give you a minute to prepare. And other people
Hello,
now,
teacher.
please have.
Hello, teacher. Only with the question one, you only need to just do the question one, right?
I-
Right?
Actually, what is the question again?
The question one is just only me, right? Only Việt Hoàng
Right,
Ngọc Việt
right. Yeah, but just
okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, I give you a minute to prepare. Now, let's see. Now, I would like to hear what you have known of introduction. Okay, number 1, Việt Hoàng.
Okay, so the question one, as I see, the introduction section will happen in the after the abstract. Yeah, after abstract, we will write after the abstract of the paper.
Okay, yes, that's true. So I think we have talked about this. The abstract goes first, all right, and then the introduction. But anyway, the introduction occurs as the first chapter of the main text, right? Chính văn, right? Main text. That means that it is the first chapter in your main text, but the abstract goes before. Does that make sense? So we'll talk about the abstract later. But yes, so the introduction after the abstract, but it is the first chapter or the first section of your main text. Okay. Now, number 2, with Hoàng Nguyễn. What do you think? What is it for?
I think the introduction is to give the reader a clear idea about the essay I will cover.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Kid?
So I think the introduction, like, is with the scope and a summary of your paper.
Okay, so what the introductions is for introducing, right? Introducing
Yes.
your paper. Okay. All right, thank you. Now number 3, let's see. Number 3, Hoàng Lan and Han Lâm. Okay. So what should be included? Lan.
I think the introduction should be included, the topic and some briefly background description.
Okay. Anything else, Lâm?
Yes, I think that you have to specify your objective and describe the background.
Okay, so you agree that you need to include the topic, the background information,
Yes.
describe it, like background, and the objectives. Okay, good, thank you. Now number 4. Thảo Linh and Hữu Khương.
I think we should only start writing the introduction after we define the background information, thesis statement, and the structure of the essay. Then after that, only we know how to write the very clear and the introduction to be short enough, not too long, and easy to get the reader to understand about our topic.
Okay, so you mentioned that this is like the structure of the paper, the thesis statement, okay, of the essay, right?
The
Yes,
background
that's
information.
background information. So after you got those kinds of information, isn't it? What do you think? What do you think, Cool?
I have the same idea with her. We can prepare it in the rough paper clearly, and after that we can writing an introduction.
Okay, that the question is when, right? When you can start, when you start writing the introduction. Okay, thank you. Now, these are the things that what you have known, right? So again, I would like to stress that whether is this the same between writing AE1 and scientific writing. Okay, so writing AE1 that instructed you to write an essay. Okay, but it seems like instead of saying, okay, final essay, but actually it is final paper. Okay, so what's the difference between essay in writing AE1 and paper in scientific writing class? Okay, now let's see. So this is why we now let's start. Okay, so I think this is the first questions that we mentioned earlier. So the introduction actually goes after the abstract, right? And we talk about this. So most of the time, it starts with the broad topic or general topic, or in other words, background information that you have mentioned. Yes, and then you narrow down to your focus of the study. So that is most of the time that's why the introductions are big, start broad, but at the end that would be the focus of your study. Okay, then so before writing the introduction, now please follow me. So the information is on page 1 of the book. So P1 refers to the page number, right? So please follow me, highlight the information from your book. Is it all right? So on page 1 of the book, so P over here is page 1. Now, so the thing is, you need to write. So you write your introduction when you are certain about what you have done and what you have found. Okay, so what you have done, as you can remember, what have you done, that is in methodology section. Okay, so I will show the structure again. So you can see that what you have done, what you did, or what you have done in the methodology section, and what you have found, or what you found in the results sections. Okay, so wow, actually, the thing is, uh, you are certain about what you have done. So what I mean over here is that is the introduction of your thesis. You can have a draft, but the final draft, when you start put everything together, introduction is not the first chapter that you need to work on, right? So the introduction chapter should be written after you have written or drafted the methodology and results sections. Does that make sense? Okay, so the introduction that you are going to write for this course is just for your proposal. That you will do. Okay, I know that you haven't got your methods yet. You haven't taken any courses in methodology yet, and you haven't got the results yet. But so this is the first draft of your introduction. Does that make sense to you? But for your thesis, introduction should be finalized after you have written methodology and results. Why so? Why? Because the thing is, if the introduction should introduce So that's the purpose, the introduction, right? It should introduce your paper, the main point, the key points of your papers. But if you change during in the process, because in the project, during in the process, you may change your mind, right? You may start with something, but later you may change your mind, or in the methodology or in the results, it may change, and the introduction should go with the methodology and the result section. Does that make sense to you? Vậy thì khi cái phần introduction, các bạn nên cái bản cuối cùng khi các bạn hoàn chỉnh, đúng không? Sau khi các bạn viết xong, các bạn hoàn chỉnh cái thesis của mình, thì cái phần introduction nên hoàn thiện sau khi các bạn đã viết xong methodology and results. Bởi vì sao? Vì trong quá trình các bạn vẫn có thể thay đổi, đúng không? Các bạn vẫn thay đổi, you may address one research question, you may change you can shift your focus. It depends on the results, đúng không? Ví dụ giả sử như là bạn ủng hộ một cái phương pháp gì đó, cái phương pháp cách làm gì đó, nhưng mà lúc ra nghiên cứu xong nó không như bạn mong muốn, thì nhiều khi mình phải chỉnh lại cả cái phần introduction. Cho nên cái introduction nên chỉnh cuối cùng sau khi mọi thứ methodology and results đã được hoàn thiện rồi. Does that make sense to you? Okay, that's why you hear. But in this at very early stage of the process, you need to be certain of what you will do, right? Tại vì cái bài final paper chỉ là cái phần proposal, đúng không? Là cái đề cương thôi, là cái introduction của cái đề cương mình bắt đầu mình đọc. Cho nên cô muốn các bạn phải đọc nhiều là như vậy ha. Các bạn đọc nhiều thì cái khả năng mà các bạn thay đổi, đúng không? Các bạn đọc và các bạn đọc nhiều, các bạn quyết định mình chọn đề tài cái hướng như thế nào. Các bạn càng rõ thì sau này cái introduction của các bạn không tại vì ở lớp này scientific writing không chú trọng nhiều đến bạn làm gì, đúng không? Có thể bạn thay đổi, so you can change your method, you can change your focus in your thesis, that's fine, don't worry. But this is the class that focus on writing, đúng không? Tại vì lớp này mình chú trọng đến cái cách các bạn viết, cách các bạn đặt vấn đề nhiều hơn là cái phương pháp, là thực sự cái bài nghiên cứu, đúng không? Cái phần nghiên cứu là các bạn cái phần thesis in your third year, in your final year, right? So that's what you're going to do. That's what you're going to write. But in this class, we just focus on your writing. But at least you need to be certain about what you will do. Nếu mà cái phần introduction của cái bài này thì ít nhất là các bạn phải biết bạn đang định làm gì, đúng không? So you need to be certain. That's why you need to read extensively. Còn nếu không, các bạn sẽ cứ nó là this is the process, nó là một cái quy trình, đúng không? Nếu các bạn cái phần này các bạn chưa chắc chắn, các bạn lại quay trở lại, các bạn viết lại. Các bạn vẫn chưa chắc, các bạn lại quay trở lại, các bạn viết lại. Cho nên các bạn cần phải chắc chắn. Đương nhiên chắc chắn ở mức độ nào đó thôi, mình có thể thay đổi, nhưng mà so the more certain you are, you don't have to rewrite, you don't have to go back from square one. Vậy bạn không cần phải quay trở lại cái phần đầu. Does that make sense? So that is the idea. So if you are not certain and if your paper changed, you have to go back to introduction and you have to rewrite the introduction. Okay. Now let's see. Let's move on. Components of the introduction. So the thing is, what should be included, right? What should be included in the introduction? Most of the time, the introduction section describes the problem. You introduce the problem. You introduce the aim of your work and the aim of the target of your paper. Okay. Now, I would like you to look at page 3 of the book. Okay, there is an excerpt of the introduction and answer these questions. How many paragraphs? How many words? You don't have to count exact number of words, but you can estimate how many words of the introduction. Okay, now let's see. Hoài Nam is here.
Yes.
Okay, please have a quick look at that. Thanh Ngân. Thanh Ngân. Trần Thị Thanh Ngân is here? She's not here. Hello, Ngân. All right, she's not here. Bảo Ngọc.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Yes, please look at the book on page 3 and tell us how many paragraphs, how many words can you find? Mhm.
There are 3 paragraphs, and I estimate about 200 words.
Okay, thank you. So you can find 3 paragraphs, right? And how many words do you think now? So how many words per line do you think? Just estimate.
I think that's about 200 words.
Thank you. Nam, can you help here?
I think it's about 220, I think.
Okay, right. So you can see that the introduction actually, is quite different from essay, right? In essay writing, you just have one paragraph for that. Okay. In essay writing, you just have one paragraph for hook, for background information, for thesis statement. You have just one paragraph for the introduction of an essay. But for paper or research papers or thesis, introduction actually you can find it is free, right? So it is more than one paragraphs actually. So it is not only 3, it can be more, but more than one. So introduction, that's why we call it introduction sections or chapter, right? Even in your thesis, you may have the term introduction chapters. It can be, it can be, it can have different or more than one paragraphs. Does that make sense? And you can see that it actually, for me, an introduction can be an essay, right? But an essay, the whole introduction. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so again, I would like to draw your attention to the thing is the difference between the introduction of an essay and a paper, a research paper or your thesis. So you will have longer, right? Or you need to develop more in the introduction chapter. Okay. Any questions? Yes. Okay. So for the people that have a problem, I will ask you again. Okay. Don't worry about that. But I will ask you later. Thank you for letting me know. All right. Now let's continue. Okay, so we talk about the structure, the purpose, right? The purpose of the introduction, and now let's have a quick look at grammar and writing skills of introduction. Okay, now please turn to page 4, right? And look at the example and then underline verb. What tense is that? So what tense is that? Does the writer use? And what does it describe? What does the tense describe? Okay. So Ngân, can you please help what tense is used? Kim Ngọc. Phạm Thị Kim Ngọc. Yes. Okay. What does the tense describe? Okay. I give you a minute to think about that. So if you have the answer, you can just let us know.
So I think the author used the present simple tense.
Thank you. So the author used simple present tense or present simple tense, right? Now, what does that describe? So that is Ngọc, right? How about you, Ngân? Okay. So the thing is this is a simple present tense, right? And it is the thing is the simple present tense in general English that indicate what situation. What do you mean by that? Temporary situation. What do you mean by that? Any other insights? How about others? What does what have you learned? Like in grade 6, what does a simple present tense describe or express? Anyone?
Sorry, can
So I
I
think
answer?
the simple present tense describe the permanent situation, not the temporary one.
So the permanent. So what does that mean? Yeah, I know, but the permanent. What does that mean? Permanent situation. What is that?
The truth.
Gongsun, yes, go ahead.
It's the truth, Miss.
Okay, it's the truth, right? It's the truth. And some people say here is the fact. Yes, that's true. And we have studied that. Okay, so simple present tense indicates the fact or the truth. Now, I'd like to add one thing at present. Okay, so it's not we have also the truth and fact in the past or in the future, right? But over here is about the truth or the fact in at present. Okay. All right, so some people still asking for books. Yeah, I think again, a lot of people can find the book. You can ask your friends to help you. Yeah, I cannot help you with that due to the copyright issue, but you can find one. Uh, yeah, this is week free. Please do find your books. Okay. Yeah, or you can ask your friends. I think a lot of people actually can find the books already. Okay, now let's see. So over here, let's see. So that's what we. So what does it express in scientific writing? Whether it is the same. Okay. Now let's see. So in scientific writing, the simple present tense is used to yes, facts and truths. It's the same as general English. Đúng không? Vậy thì cái thì hiện tại đơn nó cũng giống như với lại general English, những cái tiếng Anh tổng quát, đúng không? However, now another thing, additionally, right? Additionally, research findings have the status of a fact, usually followed by appropriate research reference. Now, I will explain. So, if the thing is for research findings, if you use simple present tense, you indicate that is a fact or the truth. Okay, and you need to cite, you need to tell who said so, who stated that. Now I give you an example. I may say, all right, I may say students prefer online learning. Yeah, if I use that and I put that statement, I found in my classes, in my scientific writing class group 3, students prefer online learning. If I use that simple present tense, I implied or I mean that this is the fact or the truth at present, isn't it? But if I write so, some people may say, no, Miss Ngan. No. Students scientific students do not like or prefer online learning as compared to face-to-face classes. People may doubt whether my statement is correct. Does that make sense? But so that's why I may say, okay, so another teacher or another teachers said that students prefer online learning. Does that make sense? So you need to cite, you need to support, you need to back your statement if you think this is the truth or this is the fact. Does that make sense? Tại vì khi các bạn muốn khái quát hóa lên một cái research findings, đó là một cái sự thật hiển nhiên, đúng không? Ở hiện tại một sự thật hiển nhiên, một cái quy luật của sự thật hiển nhiên. Nếu các bạn khẳng định quá thì người ta sẽ nghi ngờ. So people may doubt the reliability of your statement. So that's why you need to cite, you need to provide research reference. Cho nên các bạn phải cung cấp, phải trích dẫn là như vậy. Does that make sense to you? Now let's see. Compare the following sentences. Which one is correct? Sentence A or sentence B, okay? And what are the differences between them? Now, please help. Let's see. Quang Lộc is here.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, please have a quick look and I would like to hear your opinion. Hải Long. Hải Long absent. Trần Hưng Hải Long.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, yes, please. Okay, yeah, I give you a minute to think about. And everybody, yeah, feel free to have a look and let's see if you have any other opinion. Okay, Quang Lộc Hải Long, do you have any insights? Feel free to share with us. What do you think? Which one is correct?
I think A is correct because they use the past simple tense, so that really indicates that that is their personal observation, their personal information.
Personal observation, observation. Okay. What do you? It seems like you're at a coffee shop. Okay. How about you, Hải Long?
I think I have a same answer with Locke because we have to use past simple on the sentence here. I think so.
So you think A or B is correct?
I think A is correct.
A is correct because they use all of the simple past tenses.
Yes.
Isn't it? Okay. So what's the difference then? So Long, what's the difference?
It's in A because they use on the past simple, but in B they just use in file and on of the other they use the simple tense.
Okay, right. Thank you. So how about others? Do you have any other opinions? If you have other insights, opinion, please feel free to share with us.
I think we should choose the sentence B.
Okay.
Because
why so?
We use the present simple tense. It make our statement stronger.
Okay, so you think it is make it like stronger, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other suggestion? Okay, now let's see.
Can I answer?
Okay, sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
I think if the question here is which one is correct, I believe both of them are correct. It's just that they have different meaning or interpretation. So in a specific case, one can be more suitable, but both are correct. That's it.
Oh, nice. Interesting. So, Joe, you say that it is both are correct, but in what scenario? What's the difference? If you think you say it's different in different situation, then how?
I think because A, like people have said, it used the past simple tense, and I understand it. It comes by the experiments of the person who write this. So they do an experiment, and this is what they see. They are not sure if it's fact or not. But with B, with B, they use the simple present. That means that the thing that they say in there is a 100% fact, and they know it for sure. So one is kind of have a personal experience, and the other is just fact that everyone agree with.
Okay, right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, very interesting. Thank you. And yes, yeah, I think you're quite right. Yeah, that you're quite right. Now let's compare the two here. So that's true. We are comparing simple past and simple present tense. In general English, we have agreed that a simple present tense is about the fact of the truth at present, right? And the simple past is also simple past expressed or described an action or event happened in the past and finished in the past, right? And finished in the past, or the fact and the truth in the past, and they are no longer true. Does that make sense to you? So this is the use or the uses of simple past and simple present tense in general English, but whether it's hold the same truth here, okay, in scientific writing. Now, so simple past in scientific writing describe or link to your own research. So what does that mean? So that means the findings just correct, just valid in your studies only, in your project only. So if a researcher describe the 10 or describe the finding in simple past tense, that means it was right in the study only, in the research only, in the project only, cannot be generalized to others. Okay, so that's why there's and the writers doesn't want to say anything about the considered or accepted or established facts. What does that mean? That it is not the whole or generalized to everybody, right? Or to other studies. So we also have the third explanation here. That means another researcher will not or may not find the same results. So you found this. It doesn't mean that other people will find the same thing, because it was true in your study. It is valid in your study, but it may not true, or it may not be valid to other scenario or other context. Does that make sense to you? So let me get back in here. So the examples here, we found that in both sentences. Okay, so that means they found. This is an action that they found. Okay, and what is that? Actually, it's the finding, right? So the finding, the first sentence A in the simple past tense and sentence B in simple present tense. So the finding in A in simple past indicate that yes, pressure increased as the temperatures rose. And the temperature played a significant role. So temperatures did play a significant role, but in other studies, it may not played a significant role. Maybe other aspects such as let's say volume, massive, or whatever, right? Whatever would play a significant role. Does that make sense to you? So in the study, actually the temperature played a significant role. But if in other studies, other researchers may not find the same thing. Does that make sense? So that's why if you use simple past tense, so again, both are correct. Yeah, I agree with Joe. Both are correct. But if you use different tenses, you mean different things. Okay. So now, does that make sense to you? For simple past, again, just the findings was correct, was valid in specific studies, right? In your study or in any study that you are referring to, that means the findings was correct in the study, in those studies, not the whole fact or the whole truth. Okay, and it is different with as if we look at sentence B, that is quite different. Okay, so these are the explanation of simple past. Now let's have a look at simple present tense. So again, so I think we all agree that so it can be considered as fact or truth. So what does that mean by strong enough? Strong enough, that means you are certain, you are sure, you think your finding is reliable as the fact or the truth. And again, over here, you mean that you're finding some reliability in that. So reliability and actually in the statements, if you use simple present tense, you are quite sure about the findings. It can be the truth or it can be the fact. And other researchers should find the same thing, right? For example, let's get back to the examples here. In sentence B, the writer indicates that the other researchers should find that temperature plays a significant role. Does that make sense to you now? Okay. Any questions? Okay, it seems like you don't have other questions, so I just keep on. All right, now let's see. So again, it depends on what tense you use, you imply different things. So that's why if you use simple present tense, as I said earlier, people may doubt because you are so sure, right? If you are so sure, people may doubt your statement, your findings. Say, no, your finding is not the whole truth. So that's why most of the time you need to cite, you need to back up, you need to support your statements. Now the thing is, if you don't, okay, if you don't cite from other sources with something you are so sure. Now the first scenario is that if it's so sure, and people may doubt that. And if you don't provide citation, you don't provide other sources, and it is coincidentally the same with other papers, then you commit plagiarism. Does that make sense to you? So if you use simple present tense in the scenarios that you only use simple present tense in your writing, the first thing people may doubt your statement is too strong, right? It's too strong to believe. It is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. But if somebody else has already mentioned your finding, right, and you don't cite them, you don't provide sources, actually in that scenario, you plagiarizing people's ideas unintentionally, right? You don't know that people will talk about that, but you do write about that without acknowledgement, then you are actually unintentionally plagiarizing people works. Does that make sense? Any questions? Okay, no more. Right now, let's move on. I think yes. So I think we can just move on with the next pair. Okay, over here, look at the sentences in the following. Look at the tenses. Okay, focus on the tenses. What are the tenses here? And which tense is correct? And what are differences between them? I have the same questions, but with different example. Now let's see, Minh Phương is here. Hồ Lê Minh Phương.
Yes, teacher,
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
here.
please get ready. Hồng Quân. Lê Hồng Quân.
Dạ có.
Okay, please. Okay, are you ready? So, Hồng Quân and Minh Phương. So what tenses are they?
I think in the paragraph, past simple and present perfect tense is used.
Okay, yes, I agree. Simple past and or past simple and present perfect tense. So, any differences? One, you may refer to what you have learned previously, right? In general English. One, any insights?
I think that has been paid should be had.
Okay. So you mean that it is incorrect?
Yes,
Why?
I think that it is in the past, so it should not be in the simple present. In the simple perfect, it should be past perfect.
Past perfect is like had been.
Yes.
Okay, so the thing is, whether present perfect tense also indicates something in the past. Thank you. Well, but I'm asking other people. If you have answer, you can. But if I ask all of you. Okay, it's whether, and I said again, whether the present perfect tense over here is has been had, has some meaning in the past. Yes or no? You can key in the chat box. Okay, yes. So, any other? So, what's the idea here? What is the idea here?
Can I answer?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Joe.
You asked why the you has been, right? They changed from past simple to present perfect, right?
Now, my question is whether the present perfect tense has any meaning with the past.
Can you continue saying, please?
Okay. So now okay? Let's get back in here. So, what do you think? What are the differences between them? Between the simple past, or what do you think? Whatever you think.
Okay, I think the reason why they use present perfect here is because they want to emphasize the fact that the attention that been put into the selection of the thing has been happening from the past up until now, even though the result that they have come up with is in the past, but the attention is still little up until now. That's what they are trying to say. That's what I think. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So so you just agree that present perfect describes something in the past, and the result, okay, the result still now, still happened at present, right, or still occurs at present until now. You say until now.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now let's see. Thank you very much. Now let's see. Now we are looking at simple past and present perfect tense. All right. So simple past over here. Let's look at now. Wong has said it should be changed in past perfect. Past perfect is too far, right? Past perfect is something like something had happened before something else happened in the past, like before that. Okay, so in that scenario we can use the past perfect, but over here we are looking at simple past and present perfect. Okay. Okay, now let's get back. Now, so you can see that if the sentence is written in simple past tense and in the past perfect, so what is supposed to mean? If in the past, if everything or all of the sentences in the past, the problem is solved. That means it happened in the past and it completed in the past. Okay, that is the use of simple past tense. Like it happened and it was done in the past. It's finished in the past already. So it's something. You use a lot. You know, when you describe a problem, right? So if you say people or students had difficulties in online learning. Like if you use simple past, that means student they had difficulties, but they don't now. Okay, so that means they don't have difficulty anymore. So that is the problem solved. So if you use in the past, you imply that the thing or the scenario or the action or the event completed already. Now, as for present perfect, it is if you use has been past, that means something happened in the past, started in the past, and still now, okay, or a problem unsolved. If I write a sentence like students have had difficulties in online learning, and what I meant is the student started to have difficulty in the past, and until now they still have problems. They still have difficulties. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so that is the different uses. Okay, let's get back in here. So they are the uses of simple past tense and present perfect. So with the verb like showed, established, was demonstrated. Actually, the problem, the event or the actions started and completed in the past, but little attention has been paid. That means in the past, attention was not paid enough, right? And until now, people still ignore the issue. Does that make sense? Okay, so that is the ideas up here. So if you use simple past, that means it's completed, it started, and it's completed in the past. And with the present perfect, is unsolved. Okay. Yeah, I think for sentence connection, I don't think we have enough time for that. For the rest of the time, probably I just give you some time to ask, you know, about the unit, about the assignments, or other questions you may have. Any questions? No? Okay, so if you don't have other questions, then that's all. That's all for today. So I think we will continue next week with, you know, good introduction section, and please do have your own books so that you can fully engage in the class, in the activities. Okay, any other questions? Problems, concerns? Okay, no, I don't receive any other comments, so probably that's all for today. Yeah, because if we go on, I need more time on this. So we just have few minutes left, so it won't make big difference. Now, so next week, let's see, next week. Now again, please read the instruction of the final paper in details carefully. Okay, and then you can ask me with other questions you may have and take notes on that. And so next week, yeah, I'm not sure whether we get by university. I think we will, but I'm not sure what would happen. Other than that, we just still go online. Okay, but if we go back, if we go online, you just submit the homework assignment on Blackboard. You don't have to print it out, but if we could go, why I want you to print out the homework. So I want you, you know, like to I can give feedback directly in class, or that would be better. Yeah, we have to have a quick look at that as well. So okay, does that make sense? So please do submit on Blackboard. If you bring the hard copy in class, it's just for sharing or to show your homework, right? But all of the, you know, keeping track, grading, scoring on Blackboard. Các bạn nhớ nha, cái phần in ra để cho các bạn, nếu các bạn đem lên lớp, để cái phần đó cô sẽ cho các bạn conduct feedback nhanh, đúng không? Để các bạn kiểm tra giúp nhau nhanh. Nhưng mà những cái bài tất cả mọi thứ keep track các bạn ở nộp trên online nha, nộp trên Blackboard. Does that make sense? This is very important. If you miss that, yeah, most of the time I put it like at night. Thường những submission mà những cái toàn bộ submission cô thường cô để vào buổi tối, đúng không, cho đến 12 giờ đêm. Nhưng mà các bạn nhớ hard copies, khi đã yêu cầu hard copies là nộp hard copies vào giờ lên lớp, nhớ nha. When you are in class. Does that make sense? Right? So I think that's all for today, and see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.